Hello, gorgeous, and a warm welcome to Accepting. I'm Aline, your host. I'm a channel, a mentor, a coach, and a guide, and I love to see highly sensitive people and empaths flourish. And in this episode, we are going to be discovering about accepting change is constant. Okay, so grab yourself a cup of tea, get cozy, and let's dive in. Welcome to Accepting, where I guide you to accept all aspects of your beautiful self, embrace your truth, and live your life that way. So in the previous episode, I very much hope you've listened to that. If you haven't, then please go back to it, because I took you through a very gentle, beautiful journey to get you into a space of accepting change. Now, what we're going to cover and discover in this episode is change is constant. We're not changing who we are. We're changing who we have told ourselves who we are. And we are changing who other people have told us who we are. And we are accepting that as we go through these gentle changes of remembering who we are, it's not going to be smooth sailing. So I'm saying it how it is, and this is why it's so important that as you're going into any kind of changes around you, that you are held and supported, and particularly you hold and support yourself, and you reach out as and when to people who have got your back to support you. Okay? So first of all, change is constant. I spoke about in a previous episode about, we have to let go of control, because we really do. As empaths and as highly, highly sensitive people, there can be an element where we like everything controlled around us so we can control what energy is coming towards us. And again, no judgment. I get it. I absolutely get it. So we can almost try and control how people are feeling around us, so we can turn up in savior energy, or we can turn up in servant energy, just to make sure everything's okay and that we feel all right. So we're trying to control how somebody's feeling about something, and we're trying to control what's going to happen in a certain situation. So what I'm saying is, and this has taken me a really long time to accept, is we can't control anything. We can't. And around us, the only thing that we can control is our reaction or our action. And it's so much better, my gorgeous, to be in proaction rather than reacting to something. So this is about having ourselves in a very beautiful, gentle, grounded space. So as there's changes happening around us, as we're recognizing and remembering who we are, changes are going to be happening, because our vibrations are changing. People, places, and things around us are likely going to start moving away if they are not in alignment with our vibration, and if they're not in alignment with the story that we're now in, they're going to start going away, because we're moving forward and we're moving on. And if anything is in our environment that is trying to pull us back and keep us in a place that doesn't serve us, it's going to be going. And if we're not allowing that to go, then it's likely energetically the universe will pop in and will release that for us anyway. So if it's feeling a bit like, put your seatbelt on, it's going to be a bumpy night. Just know that that little kind of mini tremor earthquake is to smooth the path for you. So that's the first thing that I would like to say about discovering that as we're changing the narrative that we tell ourselves, our environment around us will likely change. So if there's friends that we've had for a very long time that suddenly disappear out of our life for no apparent reason, it's because our time, our moment, our vibrational energy together is finished. And if all of a sudden we're moving, or all of a sudden the home that we're in is not available, something's happening, again, it's because we're being moved on to somewhere that aligns with our vibration. And equally with relationships. So if we're in a relationship and we've been with a partner for a very, very long time, and we are changing who we've been telling ourselves that we're being our authentic selves, and that doesn't feel aligned or comfortable for that person, then that relationship is inevitably going to stop. It's going to finish, because when the vibrations aren't matching, something is going to happen to finish that. And I'm not saying all relationships. It may be that you have an absolutely incredible partner and they love that you're remembering and recognizing who you are. I'm talking about possibilities, okay? So please don't feel, oh no, my relationship with that person is going to finish. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. It's just allowing that as those changes around us are happening, just allow them to happen, okay? And understanding, it's understanding that changes are going to be happening outside of us as we're changing our relationship inside of us, okay? And again, we're not changing who we fundamentally are. We're changing who we've been told we are. We've been changing what our limiting beliefs created us to be. So this is remembering who we are. And as we're remembering who we are and we're stepping forward, the little mini earthquake tremors are to get us onto a smoother path. Okay, so that's first of all that I really wanted to speak about, was accepting change is happening around us. So in terms of accepting change happening around us, it's really vital that we up that self-care, because as those changes are happening around us, the 3Fs, the fight, flight, and the freeze can kick in, and we can have avoidance, we can have distractions, and we can have resistance. So it's recognizing that that might start coming up in us. So if it feels like something is trying to leave, say, for example, I mentioned about the home. So say there's a home, all of a sudden your landlord says you can't be here anymore. All of a sudden, the room is being rented to something else. Anything like that. All of a sudden, slightly dramatic, but all of a sudden there's a leak in the house or something, and you have to move out. I'm just giving you a couple of examples. It doesn't have to be that. I'm just talking about how it could show up. It can show up in any number of ways. If something is showing up for you to move from somewhere, just allow that to happen. And I say just, I know that's very, very difficult. Just allow that to happen. Allow that to happen. Get yourself into the journey that I took us on in the previous episode. Get yourself into that beautiful space of just being before you react to any situation around you. So it's really important that you're in a parasympathetic state before you start facing these changes of things going around you, because it can be so easy to get into a bit of a desperate and anxious state if we're falling into the vibration of things falling away and it feels like a loss. And there's there's a space there as this people, places, things move away. It can be very easy that we fill it with something that we already know, so we can go into unhealthy habits. So what's very, very important is to be in a space of acceptance. And being in a space of acceptance is using your beautiful tools, is using I am safe. That's huge. Is I've done this many, many times with you, as hand on heart. I am safe. I've got this. We're okay. Talking to your inner protector and asking your inner protector for reassurance and telling your inner protector that it's okay. And also, what's really important is speaking to people who understand you on the same vibrational level as you about what's happening, because we all see things through our own stories. We all see things through our own experiences and our own moments and our, limiting beliefs, our own filters. We all see things through our own filters. So somebody who's seeing things change around for you, it might bring up panic in them because they're not understanding that that's for your betterment, that's for your greater good. So their influence could come in and bring you to a sense of panic. So it's very, very important that you choose who you're expressing what's going on around you to. So this is where it's very important to have your tribe. And it doesn't have to be somebody in your, in your local neighborhood. It can be somebody online, that you know and you trust. And also, as things start changing around us, this is when people show up in our lives that we can trust. All of a sudden, there may be a new teacher, there may be a new guy, there may be a new mentor. You may be listening to this because something is going on and we're supposed to connect. As we are vibrating on the level that is moving us towards our authenticity and showing up in our truth, that is when other doors start opening, other people start showing up. And for us to enter into that, we have to have, we allow that space to be created as people, places, and things around us go to move on into this vibrational level, which is going up and up and up and up as we are speaking our truth, as we are living our most authentic life. And we will find those who are not, and again, no judgment, those who are not at the same vibratory level, because they have a situation that they're still experiencing and their soul chose that. They're at the level where they're still going through and through and through and through something, and they're not at that point to start moving forward into their authenticity. Then we say, thank you so much for being a part of my journey so far. And we let them go with compassion if that feels that's what's the right thing. Because there may be people as we're, there may be people as we're changing our perceptions of ourselves and we're changing the story to truth and authenticity, who aren't comfortable with who we are because they're not used to that, because for them it's a change. So their 3Fs are going into overdrive, and that may show up in a derogatory way towards us. And it's about, as difficult as it can be, it's about not taking things personally and just allowing them to leave our lives, or having a conversation and saying, I don't feel very comfortable with the way you're speaking to me or the way you're being with me, and educating them that you are changing your perception of who you are, and there are certain things that you now will not accept, there are certain things that you will accept, and you would very much like them to accept who you are. It's up to them if they do or not. You accept that. You accept yourself. And if others don't accept you, then that's when it's time to go, thank you so much, and on we go. All right? So that's really important with people, places, and things. And it's really important to up that self-care, because we're not even halfway through. So we're getting to that point of acceptance, and to be with that point of acceptance, and it's constantly changing. The world is constantly changing. Environments around us are constantly changing. To be at that point of acceptance and allow that into that inner change, and to allow that beautiful authenticity to come through, it's really important to accept change is going to happen outside of us. And it's a beautiful thing because it's creating the space for all those beautiful gifts to come in. It's creating the space for your beautiful gifts to get higher and higher and higher, and to rise and rise and rise. And it's creating that beautiful space for you to nurture and nourish your gifts. And it's creating that beautiful space for you to show up in the world and more than likely help others. So, as difficult as it can feel at that time, and I talk about blessings in disguise, when things are changing around us and they don't really feel like blessings. It doesn't feel like a huge blessing if you've been fired. It doesn't feel like a huge blessing if all of a sudden you don't have your home. It doesn't feel like a huge blessing if all of a sudden your relationship has finished at the time. So this is why I like to forewarn that things may happen. And this isn't putting it out there that, oh, well, this is going to happen now. This is just getting you into a space of acceptance that things are going to be changing outside of me as I'm changing, and things that don't align with my vibration around me are going to be changing. And that is a blessing. And allowing ourselves that really gentle moment, and allowing ourselves just, if this happens, as I said, if it doesn't happen, wonderful. And everything is vibrating beautifully. I am delighted for you. I'm talking to you about when we've been telling ourselves a different story for all of our lives, and then all of a sudden we're realizing who we are, things are going to start looking differently. And if it doesn't match us, it's going to start going. So please don't feel that your relationships are all going to start ending. Please don't feel that you're going to lose your home. Please don't feel of that. All I'm saying is there will be likely subtle changes, and there may be a huge blessing in disguise. I'm not saying there definitely will be. I'm saying there's a possibility of that. Because the universe and your spiritual team will only give you what you can deal with at that moment. And that's really important to understand as well. We're never given anything that we can't handle. We may think at the time, oh my goodness. For example, me, I had my accident, I was fired, a relationship ended, and all of that had to happen because I'd said in a shamanic ceremony, I wish to live my most authentic life. And that's how that happened. So when we're going through changes, when you're choosing and you haven't had a traumatic event and you're just recognizing, when I say traumatic, I mean physically, and you're recognizing through something that's happened, through a shift that's happened, because you've been looking at yourself, because you've listened to a podcast, because you've read a book, something has shifted in you that has started to remind yourself of who you truly are. It's allowing those gentle changes to start happening. It might be that you're going to have a really, really gentle changes all the way along. Wonderful. And it might be you're going to have quite abrupt changes to get you to this point so you can start really moving forward. Again, wonderful. So it's accepting however that's going to look for you, because it doesn't look the same for all of us. Mine was quite a dramatic one. So this is why I like to forewarn, because we don't know what's going to happen. Nothing is under control. And it's just, I'm using the word control, it's controlling our interior. It's controlling how we are with our kindness and compassion and our nurturing to ourselves. That's the only thing that we can control. The only thing we can control is how kind we are to ourselves and how kind we are to other people. We cannot control how other people are going to react as we change our perception of ourselves. We cannot control how situations are going to change around us. We can control our nurturing, our nourishing, and our self-care. Okay, so I feel that's enough for today. I'm going to be diving deeper and deeper and deeper into this conversation. The sun is setting behind me, which is absolutely gorgeous. Actually, it's setting to my left. The sun is setting as we're closing, which is very gorgeous. So it's a beautiful time to close. If I was on the mobile, I would show it to you. I might add the image so you can see it. So here, my gorgeous, is to your self-empowerment. Here is to your self-acceptance. And here is to you really listening and allowing the most wondrous changes around you so you can really start living your truth and your authenticity. Okay, so much love. Until the next time. My beautiful Cleo has come to say, when are we watching the sunset, Mummy? So much love. Ho. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Accepting. Please do stay tuned for future episodes and also subscribe wherever you get your podcast. If there's anything at all that you'd like me to cover in future episodes, please get in touch and let me know. You can also follow me on Instagram at The Acceptance Coach and on TikTok at Solution Union 99. And if you'd like to have any coaching at all, or you would like to discuss this, do book an expansion call. For now, I'm your host, Aline, and to your self-acceptance, gorgeous, with so much love.